Alright, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, Connor on Chain. So, we got a lot to talk about today. I want to talk about Bitcoin majors, cover what we normally cover, show you guys a bunch of Twitter posts, but then even at the end, if you guys are interested in a little bit about AI, I kind of want to talk about AI in general, not really fully crypto related, because there's just a lot of things that I think people need to be paying attention to and focusing on within the realm of AI and trying to take advantage of that now. So, anyways, let's let's jump into it. So, number one, Mr. Bitcoin here. We have been just holding this general price area now for a little while. So the thing with Bitcoin here, guys, is I've seen many people calling for the literal end of the cycle. Everyone's waiting for either A, the final acceleration until we nuke, which is kind of what I'm waiting for, to be completely honest. I mean, I've been saying it now for at least a couple weeks. Or a lot of people are really thinking we're just going to go into another all-time high, which personally I find it very, very hard to just see Bitcoin go into another like higher here. I really do think that at least for the time being, I don't think we're going to see a new all-time high anytime soon. Does not mean that we aren't going to continue to bounce. So let's talk about the bounce now, because this is actually not what I wanted to see from Bitcoin. This is actually the opposite. Like, yes, we are bouncing from where, I've been confident that we would have bounced from, but because we have not chopped, I wanted to see us chop for at least another few days or a week. Like, if you look at this over here, this is on a daily, so keep in mind. But, like, look at this. This is what I wanted to see. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Because what does that do? This gives us a true formation of an actual bottom. It is showing us that, okay, like, yeah, price continues, continued to nuke, dumped again. Oh, dumped again, but like, look at where price is kind of sitting. It's been generally ranging in an area. And then eventually what happened? That structure ended up breaking bullish and pushed higher. Bottom line, we ended up chopping and consolidating, which ended up leading into our next move. Right now, we are not doing that. Bitcoin is technically still just forcing this downtrend into a new low, lower high, lower low, lower high, another huge lower low. But now, what is this doing? This is not chopping. It's not giving us anything except the potential of adding a new lower high into a continued downtrend, which I'm not saying this is just going to do this, because I actually don't think it will. I think, if anything, we are actually at the beginning stages of chopping within this range here. But again, because of how quick this bounce is now hit, and now that we're just pushing green for many days in a row, you have to definitely continue to be very cautious in the market here, because especially in sentiment like this, like I said, I think, the bottom line, my main target for right now, I still want to see Bitcoin go up at least 100K, 105, 108, this range, and from that, this is where I want to start looking to potentially selling a lot more stuff. And I would assume that things have pumped at least a little bit, giving a potential way to sell at least some bags, if not most of your bags, right? I gave this kind of thing out here. Put this in our group the other day. This has just been my thoughts for a while. And keep in mind, like, the downside swing here, don't even look at that yet, because I just kind of drew that in as one of two potentials. But main thing here is, like I said, I depending on how quick Bitcoin gets here, that's where this lies. Because initially, when we were down here, I was very convinced we were going to just bounce around for like 2 or 3 weeks. But now that we're just pushing higher, this is bearish short term for me, because what that means, again, I could be completely wrong here, but more often than not is when we're just in a downtrend and this is continuing the downtrend, we're probably going to get at least one more attempt back down, because we have not fully bottomed out. You don't bottom off of one single bounce. Like, I mean, like I just said, look over here. It took three different bounces over the span of like, what, a month, 2 months? I'm not also saying it's going to take 2 months to bottom out, but I wouldn't be surprised if this does take another 2 weeks of chopping, if that happens. And that's what I want to see. But if we continue to go green here for the next week, 2 weeks, and we're just pushing into 100K, guys, that is not, to me personally, that is not bullish. It's good for us to be selling if we can get into that range. Yes, it's good for the bounce that everyone's been waiting for. But that, quite frankly, will be exactly what it is, a relief bounce to then very highly likely see even lower or back down. But if we end up coming back down and chopping first, finding an actual bottom, building momentum to actually, at least look like we want to continue to swing higher, this is what would give me a lot more confidence that I know we are going to at least swing higher. And there's a higher potential that we don't just go back to resistance and then nuke to zero, right? So bottom line, what does all of this mean that I'm talking about? Bottom line, be even more on your toes right now because of how quick Bitcoin is starting to trend higher. If we continue to go green without a pullback at all on like a daily, again, this is a daily time frame, it's high time frame. I'm not looking at a 2 minute chart here. If we don't pull back and we go up to these range highs, do not just be full porting your bags. This is going to be where you want to start selling and reassessing, because I have a very strong feeling that no matter what it does, if we chop, then get up to this range, or if we just shoot straight into it, this is going to be a huge resistance, like a massive resistance in the market. So keep that in mind. You should not be full porting anything in the market right now. If you have exposure to some coins, make sure it's top quality, high conviction, things that you like. I'm personally still holding a few bags. As you guys may know, I've seen on Twitter, Edel and Surge have been two coins I've been, somewhat vocal about that I do like. I'm holding right now. But keep in mind that those are only a small position of my portfolio. I do not have 50% of my portfolio in Edel, 50% in Surge. Like, cannot be doing that right now in this market because of just the potential risks reward across the board. It's just not there right now. I mean, for alts technically, yeah, but I just don't have the confidence like I had when we were down here. Same with pretty much everyone, right? There's always still a lot higher of a risk when Bitcoin has been up for a while. So you just got to keep that in mind with everything. Again, short term though, we'll see what happens. I'm still bullish until we get up to the 100K, 105-ish range. Then from there, I will return to fully neutral in the market. I'm not going to be bullish, not going to be bearish. If anything, I'll be taking profits on a lot of trades. If not, selling bags that have came down and then bounced a little bit. This is where you just got to be cautious. That's it. Keep that shit in mind. So let's cover... I really don't like to say anything else too, but ETH literally bounced exactly where I thought it would. Took a long fucking time. This is what I mean about price action, guys. It's just look for big ranges of the most obvious levels. That's it. People complicate their setup strategies. You don't need 5 different indicators. You don't need fucking anything, to be honest. I use the RSI and wide support and resistance. I don't use, people use like tiny little lines like this. I guess it works, but then people are so torn. They're like, oh, well, it didn't tap this line. It didn't go all the way up. So does that mean it's going to go higher and break through? Like, bro, just use it. Just use the whole fucking range. If it goes anywhere within that range, high chance it at least has some sort of reaction or a bounce. It's just so much easier. And same thing, only internal range on ETH. Next potential internal range would be here. Definitely not going to the absolute Pico range low. I doubt it. Maybe by the end of the fucking cycle. Or if ETH completely does die out, maybe we go down there. But that probability of that, in my opinion, even in 2026 is fairly low. I doubt it. So maybe. You never say never in this cesspool of a market. Anyways, let's dive in though to a few tweets, a few other things. And classic to a lot of the coins that we're in and watching, same thing. I've been kind of chopping around, bouncing. found their levels where I thought they would. But same thing, you just got to be cautious. But some hopium though is ARK Invest. Liquidity is returning, and it may set the stage for a year-end market rebound. Which I'm feeling pretty good about the Christmas rally, the Santa rally at some point. I think going into December, things should be looking a lot better, I would think. And that's why for Bitcoin, I've, been vocal thinking that, even if we're short term pushing here, I would think that at least into early December, middle of December, we're probably going to be chopping and hopefully going back up. But I do think at least going into December, things should be good. I'm not really going to cover this tweet. Just giving you guys a little hopium. You can check this out at ARK Invest on Twitter. They just, dropped to kind of a little bit. Kind of interesting. Let's keep going. So I want to cover a little bit about Surge and Edel because, again, I've been very picky with any coins that I'm buying here, even looking at, regardless. Aside from maybe just taking tiny little trades here and there. But so this is Powell, or Paul Powell. I don't know how he pronounces his name, but he's basically combined his AI ecosystem, Lab AI, with Surge. With Surge, that is his tokenized AI ICM based launchpad. Not a rebrand, side quest, or marketing play. It's one of the biggest moves in my career. I've been thinking about it for a long time. Lab has been my home base. We turned it the most active, 240K engaged developers, 30K new builders joining or interacting every month. I mean, I'd love to see actual data on this. That is insane. Because on Twitter, it's very hard to take face value just off a tweet. You got to look into a lot of stuff like that, of course, but tens of thousands of prototypes shipped through global hackathons. He's done a ton of hackathons too, which I think is actually pretty cool. Deep partnerships, and again, I don't know exactly what that means. I wish he would clarify with OpenAI, Google, Meta, and others. Founders building within 150 countries. But, he's been cooking up basically. And he's trying to push Surge to the forefront using his already built out ecosystem that he's kind of been working on behind the scenes for a long time. That I think is pretty bullish, and it's not just this tiny little company. I feel like this could actually have a lot of potential. But yeah, Surge Launchpad is now merged with developer ecosystem under the hood of Lavos. Oh, kind of saying the same thing. 240K AI builders, 200 plus yearly hackathons, 4K projects that are accelerated by the Magnificent Seven, including Google, Gemini, Meta, OpenAI, now powered by Surge. So that's pretty cool. But just to give you guys perspective, I just think AI ICM is a huge meta. I think that could be massive in the market. Again, granted, Bitcoin can hold up, and the market is not going to zero throughout the early part of 2026, right? But just wanted to give that because I do, like I said, I think it has a lot of potential. I want to talk about Edel too because I've been in and out and back into Edel, guys. Edel has been a fucking shit show the last week. But I gotta give it to them, guys. They are operating their launch better than probably 99% of projects in the entire space. And this is just free alpha I'm gonna share with you guys. I'm very specific with how I look at different coins. Because you can look at it from a deep fundamental standpoint, but if we're looking at a new launch, a fresh stealth launch, I consider it a stealth launch because it came out of nowhere. The way that this launched, the way they handle everything, the way that they do everything, we'll cover in a second, is when I tell you top tier for a stealth launch. So number one, they got full out long videos. They are talking about, anything and everything related to their project, giving transparency, showing everyone what they're about, who they are. That alone, I mean, them having their faces out, their videos out, even though there's been allegations, I think, about even this dude here, he's tied to a bunch of other failed projects, but again, outside of the FUD, outside of the scam allegations, all the bullshit, this, I just put this in a private video earlier too. This is a perfect project to look at from a launch standpoint as far as how they run their Twitter, their socials, and how their launch actually went. When I tell you flawless execution, this is what you want to find in a brand new launch. Like, there a coin maybe like twice a year at this caliber of a launch actually comes up. Whether it's a scam or not, that's outside of what I'm trying to talk about. But this is what you want to look for a very high chance that it's probably going to run, even if it is a scam. But I do think Edel still has potential, guys. Again, I'm not paid to talk about this shit. I just think the narrative, the way that they've operated this and handled the FUD is just top tier. I can't lie. It's very good. So if you guys need to study a project as far as how it launched and what makes a good launch, look at Edel. The way that their posts are, they're posting pretty much every day. That's a main factor. They got a, decent domain, decent website. Their graphics though are a huge part of it. I don't care if it's fucking AI generated in 10 seconds. They are keeping consistent quality. Their posts are not just Dex updated or verified on CoinGecko here. Like, they're not posting some bullshit. Then they're being transparent, showing their team, right? Different things like that. They're keeping all of their graphics high quality. They're doing, I think they did a couple of spaces as well. Just to give you guys an idea of what to be paying attention to. This just top tier stealth launch. I'll probably make a video in the future talking about like stealth launches specifically, because the way that you got to evaluate them is a lot different than looking at a coin that has been dead for a year and you're trying to catch the comeback, like the comeback arc from it. Almost like how Zora launched, died out, and then we ended up catching that huge run it had. That is a completely different way you got to look and evaluate a coin versus something like Edel that launched with, I guess the way that it launched, because it was just new. There wasn't no hype on it. No one even really knew what it was until the coin was out. Huge, yeah. I gotta talk about all that stuff because that's so important that people just don't understand. So that was just, I want to talk about Edel and Surge. I still just have a lot of conviction in them right now. Another one too that I've just been, watching for a long time is MetaDAO. MetaDAO focuses on a kind of a new way in which you can launch and or I guess just the way the tokens are launching through their launchpad. Why did I just pull up X? If you go to MetaDAO, let's go to the chart here too. So the chart actually looks very good. This has just been ranging for 2 months now. Chart looks very good. But the reason why I like it though is it is very community focused, meaning that if any project that launches through them, if they need to update something, if they need to change something, do anything in regards to their own project, the community comes first within the decisions. It's like I've always been an advocate of calling, what is it, like governance for, crypto. If you see governance on a token, bro, it's, to me it's like a literal meme. Like, it doesn't mean shit. But when it comes down to MetaDAO, the way that they do it, they kind of add that in as a core aspect of their types of tokens, their ownership coins that they're launching. And I actually find that pretty useful because it's very community focused and the community has a say in what actually is happening in the protocols themselves that are launching. So I think it's pretty cool. Fairly strong project, I would think, and because of the success of Avicii, what was it, Avicii and other ones, Umbra, and a couple other ones too. Yeah, they've been doing very well. And look at this. Oh, dude, I am still coping from this. Like, what was I thinking? Dude, like, what was I thinking, bro? Oh. Profit is profit, but I hate that, dude. I swear, I lose more by selling early than anything in this market every time. But anyways, yeah, MetaDAO I've been watching too. Like I said, oh well, didn't mean to pull that one up, but that one's like a micro cap on the ERC 8004. That one's a pretty interesting one too. Praxis. No idea if and when that will run. But let's talk about AI a little bit, like I mentioned. So, guys, I have a bunch of different things here, but this video, yeah, I won't even get into these other tweets I had. But this was bullish too. If you guys didn't see this, Pillage Capital dropped a crazy article. TLDR, the best blockchain use case is ownership coins, kind of what I was just talking about, tokenized equity. Actual use cases, basically, kind of what Edel is focusing on. New store value, privacy, and neobanking. And there's another neobanking coin that we've been looking at in our Discord lately. I feel it's pretty bullish, but everything right now, guys, same thing. It's going to come down to market sentiment. Nothing is going to absolutely cook unless the market sentiment gets a lot better here. Unless you're focusing on like these little pockets of, alt seasons, like even like Monad had, or Monad had a couple days of their memes running, right? Unless you're focusing on those tiny little pockets of liquidity kind of moving, it's gonna be very difficult to be watching and catching crazy X's in this market. So just keep that in mind. Let's talk about AI, guys. This is nuts. So I don't know who this is. Tristan Harris, Ricardo, he's dropped his tweet, but I just want to cover, I'm not even going to listen to the video, I just want to cover a couple of things. But AI is just getting nuts because I've been messing around with a ton of different AI tools over the last couple of weeks here. For some reason, I've been going just straight up deck screener, my wallet, and kind of like the way that I invest and trade, even still in the market, guys, has been so bare bones the entire cycle. Like I don't use like these crazy ass tools that a lot of people use. I don't track wallets. I don't do anything. It's just strictly off Twitter, Dex Screener, and my literal wallets. My fucking crazy amount of wallets that I have that I don't even know why I have so many. This guy warned about social media addiction. I don't even know why I just went on that rant. I was going to say something about it, but my bad. Let's cover AI. The guy who warned about social media addiction, blah, blah, blah. AI is 1,000 times worse, but it is. There's a 20% chance. I don't know. That's crazy. But bottom line is talking about how crazy the AI acceleration is going to be. And it's kind of just where we're headed. Because I think that a lot of people are not focused on the next 3, 5, 7, 10 years of where things are headed as far as AI and how bad it can get. I actually it is going to be kind of scary in how things end up panning out and playing out. I was gonna read this whole thing, but I don't even think I want to. But bottom line, there is going to be only a very small handful of companies, individuals, people that are going to kind of control the outcome of everybody. It's kind of a known thing. It's kind of just what it is today with, a handful of companies have 90% of other companies by the balls right now, But the goal is automating all human cognitive labor, every marketing job, coding, every legal, blah, blah, blah. But it's just kind of nuts in which I think things are going to be. And even something like this, AI companionship, this is something where I've talked about on and off, but I find it fucking unbelievable that this is actually a thing right now. 1 in 5 high school students now have romantic relationships with AI. Dude, please tell me that is not real. You're actually kidding, right? 42% use AI as their companion. Again, I have not fact checked this. Frankly, I don't even want to look that up. I hope that's not real. Probably is, though. That's fucked up. And we're headed towards 10 billion humanoid robots, which I'm bullish on robotics. I love it. For, humanity itself, probably not. But as far as how we can profit, so over the next 5-10 years, yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about AI a little bit, guys. This guy was a super doom poster. At least this post is super negative, but yeah, it is just something you guys have to be looking at. Oh, that's what I was saying before. I've been looking and using a ton of different AI tools lately. But yeah, it is just incredible how Because oh yeah, that's why. Because I was bare bones in the market when there's a lot of different tools, AI stuff that I've never used. I finally started getting around to just messing with it, looking into it, building out AI agents for myself, just to try and mess around with stuff. But it is nuts, like just some of these tools and what they can do. I don't care if I'm years late to that, but it's just it is wild at where we are headed. You just got to be very much so on the forefront of what is happening with AI right now. Doesn't matter what industry you're in because again, this it's like I feel like we're accelerating at a rate as in if you are not on the forefront of what is going to be next, you might get left in the dust very quick. And the thing is too is AI is not just going to take every job. Eventually they're going to take a lot, but if you can implement and use AI to create things and build things better than anyone else that doesn't implement it, I think that's the biggest thing anyone can be doing. I feel like it's almost going to be a forced learning where people need to start learning how to use AI within their workflows, within their day to day, or else they are going to be left behind by the people that do end up integrating it across the board with everything. It's almost like a necessity going forward for anyone and everything, and anyone, everyone in their respective industries. So that's it. I just find AI interesting. Like I've been looking a lot into it, messing around with a lot of different tools lately, like I said. But outside of that, guys, just for the markets so far, we're going to just continue to let them play out, do what they got to do. Also, happy Thanksgiving or late Thanksgiving because that was yesterday. But I appreciate anyone and everyone watching. I know how rough the last few months have been in the market, but hopefully going into December, we do get a better move. And again, I don't think this was the bounce. Looks like it here so far, but I would hope that we can chop a little bit more and have an actual swing higher. That is what I'm still watching and waiting for. Be patient, be on your toes. Start messing with AI if you haven't yet. Just random info thrown at you guys. I'm telling you, just start messing around. Even if it's, I don't care what it's for. Just start looking into it a little bit. Um, and just be ready for whatever kind of conditions things can happen in the market going forward from here. So outside of that, guys, I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.